from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Hello there, good evening and a warm welcome to the National News broadcast, bringing you your top stories for tonight. I am Lakshita Virasinghe.
And I'm Delanjali Ananda. These are the top stories for today. Chinese and Sri Lankan leaders meet. China extends its support to stabilize Sri Lanka's economy. Sri Lanka enters into the IMF staff-level agreement. The second tranche of $330 million will be released soon. A clear growth is recorded in the Colombo stock market. Electricity charges have been increased by 18%. The UNP Special Convention will be held tomorrow under the patronage of the President. Number of Palestinians killed by Israel attacks exceeds 4,000. For those and other stories in detail, President Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China stated that China is committed to assist Sri Lanka in achieving economic stability without any political agenda.
He expressed his desire to collaborate closely with President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Furthermore, President Xi Jinping acknowledged that Sri Lanka's speech at the United Nations General Assembly delivered by President Ranil Wickremesinghe reflected the country's strategic independence and its neutral stance. Bilateral discussions between President Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is on an official visit to China, and Chinese President Xi Jinping took place at the Great Hall of the People. President Xi Jinping warmly welcomed President Ranil Wickremesinghe, and after a friendly exchange, the two leaders engaged in bilateral talks. President Xi Jinping reiterated China's commitment to the One China policy and expressed gratitude for Sri Lanka's support for the Belt and Road Initiative. He highlighted the port city and Hambantota port as key projects under this initiative and pledged to promote imports of Sri Lankan products to China and increase investments in Sri Lanka. Additionally, President Xi Jinping assured that China would provide friendly, practical and timely support for Sri Lanka's debt optimization program. President Xi Jinping also mentioned the historical relations between China and Sri Lanka, citing travel notes by the Fahian monk and Zheng He. In response, President Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed his appreciation for China's long-standing support to Sri Lanka and commended President Xi Jinping for his consistently friendly attitude towards Sri Lanka. He informed President Xi Jinping about plans to construct a Sri Lankan Buddhist temple and stupa in commemoration of the visit of Fahian monk to Sri Lanka, and President Xi Jinping expressed China's support for these activities. President Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed Sri Lanka's hope to establish a maritime economic corridor linking China, Myanmar, Sri Lanka and South Africa. President Xi Jinping acknowledged the challenging nature of this endeavour and encouraged President Wickremesinghe to take the lead. The conversation also emphasized the significance of positioning Sri Lanka as an economic hub in the Indian Ocean region. President Ranil Wickremesinghe underlined Sri Lanka's commitment to preserving peace and the identity of the Indian Ocean region, advocating for cooperation between India and China to foster development in Asia. President Ranil Wickremesinghe disclosed Sri Lanka's ambition to achieve developed status by 2048, and he highlighted the substantial foundation provided by the 8-step program unveiled at the 3rd Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation. Mr. President, welcome to attend the 3rd Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation. China and Sri Lanka enjoy long-standing friendly exchanges. A record of Buddhist kingdoms written by revered Chinese Buddhist monk Fahian in the Eastern Jin dynasty and the stele of Zheng He left during his ocean-going voyages are both historical witnesses of the two peoples' long-term friendship and mutual learning. More importantly, the signing of the Rubber Rice Pact between China and Sri Lanka in 1952 is a true portrayal of the mutual support and unity for self-improvement between the two sides. I attach great importance to developing relations with Sri Lanka. I am willing to work with Mr. President to cement political mutual trust, pursue high-quality Belt and Road cooperation and make new progress in advancing China-Sri Lanka strategic cooperative partnership featuring sincere mutual assistance and everlasting friendship, so as to deliver more benefits to our two peoples.
Your Excellency, I must commend Your Excellency for the successful third Belt and Road Forum. From the first forum onwards, now we see a concrete shape taking place as far as the Belt and Road initiative is concerned. And within this framework, we've now got to determine the roles each of our country will play and the cooperation that we will have with each other.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe also held a discussion with the heads of several agencies in Beijing related to environmental universities and climate yesterday. The representatives of these agencies have agreed to extend their support from academic and technological sectors to establish the proposed International University for Climate Change. They pointed out that Sri Lanka's attempt to establish such a university in the island is far-sighted and a timely matter. Meanwhile, President Ranil Wickremesinghe stated that a shrine room and a pagoda that reflects Sri Lankan traditional Buddhist architecture will soon be constructed at the White Horse Temple premises in the Henan province. The foundation stone for this religious construction was laid at this temple during Ranil Wickremesinghe's tenure in Sri Lanka as the Prime Minister. The foundation stone was laid by former Speaker Karu Jayasuriya. However, the constructions were not started due to various reasons. At a discussion held with the chief incumbent of the White Horse Temple, Venerable Yan Lee Thera, held yesterday, the President has instructed the relevant authorities to prepare plans anew to construct this shrine room complex in Sri Lankan traditional architecture.
The IMF has reached staff-level agreement on the first review of Sri Lanka's extended fund facility arrangement yesterday. IMF staff and Sri Lankan authorities have reached this agreement on economic policies to conclude the first review of the 4 years IMF-supported program. Sri Lanka will have about $330 million financing once it is approved by the IMF management and the executive board. According to the IMF reforms, the Sri Lanka's economy is showing tentative signs of stabilization. Inflation is down from peak of 70% in September last year to 1.3% in September this year. The gross international reserves have increased by $1.5 billion by mid this year. Shortage of essential commodities has eased. The IMF says, however, full economic recovery is not yet assured. Sustaining the reform momentum is of paramount importance in steering the economy towards sustained recovery. For this purpose, the authorities should be committed to increase revenue by adapting new tax measures and streamlining the tax administration. The IMF's team has also thanked the Sri Lankan authorities for the excellent collaboration and constructive discussion so far.
Now, in the meantime, State Minister Shehan Semasinga says that the process of debt restructuring will be expedited by the agreement signed with the IMF. The State Minister made these remarks at a press briefing held in the President's Media Centre today. State Minister Shehan Semasinga said that the staff-level agreement will be finalized only after the approval of the IMF Executive Board. In the meantime, there may be further changes. As of in the first instance, after the board approval is received, we present it to the Parliament. The government will inform all relevant parties regarding the reforms we conduct. In the next programs, we are able to come into agreement for the debt restructuring program. Meanwhile, State Minister Ranjit Siyamalapati expressed his views regarding the release of second installment of the IMF Comprehensive Debt Scheme. State Minister Ranjit Siyamalapati has said that Sri Lanka has overcome the first challenge. In the meantime, China has expressed its agreement for the foreign debt restructuring program. The President is successfully conducting talks at this juncture.
Indicators at the Colombo Stock Exchange recorded significant gains today, with the all share price index increased by 260.11 or 2.46%. S&P SL20 increased by 106.92 points or 3.62%. Total turnover is 909 million rupees. The Public Utilities Commission has granted permission to Ceylon Electricity Board to increase electricity tariff from today.
Accordingly, in pursuant to the review conducted following the consideration of public views, the Commission has recommended an 18% tariff increase. In addition to the charges for consuming amount of power, the fixed charge has also been revised. Accordingly, the charge per unit for the first 30 unit has been increased to 10 rupees to 12 rupees at present. The 150 rupees fixed charge has been increased up to 180 rupees. In the 31 to 60 units category, the 25 rupee charge per unit has been increased up to 30 rupees. The 300 rupees fixed charge has been increased up to 360 rupees. In the 61 to 90 units category, the charge of 35 rupees per unit has been increased to 41 rupees, and the 400 rupees fixed charge is now at 480 rupees. For 91 to 120 units category, the new charge is 59 rupees per unit. The 1000 rupees fixed charge has been increased to 1180 rupees. In the 121 to 180 units category, the current charge remains unchanged. However, the 1500 fixed charge has been increased up to 1770 rupees. From 181 units upward, the 75 rupee charge per unit has been increased up to 89 rupees. The 2000 rupees fixed charge of this category has been increased to 2360 rupees. The charges for religious and charity entities, the 10 rupees charge per unit has been increased to 12 rupees, and the 20 rupees charge is now at 24 rupees. The 35 rupees charge per unit has been increased to 41 rupees. Charge of the religious places that consume 121 to 180 units has been increased from 45 rupees to 53 rupees. The religious places that consume over 181 units now has to pay 59 rupees per unit.
The Acting General Manager of Ceylon Electricity Board, Dr. Narendra De Silva, says that requesting Public Utilities Commission to increase electricity bills is not an offence. Acting General Manager of the Ceylon Electricity Board, Dr. Narendra De Silva, said that the Electricity Board should make a request to the Public Utilities Commission. It is not an offence. It is my duty as the Acting General Manager. The board carry out the decision of the Public Utilities Commission. If the Electricity Board runs at a loss, the people will have to bear the burden. We are just officials working for a salary. This is a very simple matter if we pay the amount through the electricity bill or pay the amount as taxes for essential commodities like rice and dal. We momently deviate from local news to bring you an update on the Israeli and Palestinian conflict. Palestinian officials say more than 4,000 people have been killed in Gaza since Hamas attacked Israel on the 7th of October, killing more than 1,400 people.
United States Secretary General Antonio Guterres has visited the crossing in Egypt, where he said safe passage of trucks into Gaza was the difference between life and death. Palestinian officials informed that more than 13,000 people have been wounded in Gaza. Antonio Guterres is now speaking to reporters in Egypt, where he is calling for trucks carrying aid to be allowed into Gaza. He says he has seen so many trucks loaded with water, with fuel, with medicines, food, adding that these trucks would be a lifeline and the difference between life and death for so many people in Gaza. Israel's military says more than 20 children under 18 are among 200 hostages being held in Gaza after Hamas attacks on 7th of October. In a statement, the Israel Defense Forces says between 10 and 20 are over 60 and the majority of those being held are alive. The United Nations says the first aid delivery into Gaza via the Rafah crossing should take place in the next day or so. We are in deep and advanced negotiations with all relevant sides to ensure that an aid operation in Gaza starts as quickly as possible, a spokesperson for UN Humanitarian Chief Martin Griffiths says. Dozens of trucks are backed up at the crossing on the Egyptian border carrying food, water and medicine, but no fuel. It's believed that only 20 will initially be allowed to cross. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has met the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, to agree on the urgent need to get food, water and medicine into Gaza. A Downing Street spokesperson said the pair underlined the importance of avoiding any escalation in the violence across the region, and that leaders had a responsibility to do everything possible to prevent it. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden, who has returned from a trip to Israel, delivered a televised national address from the White House. As president, there is no higher priority for me than the safety of Americans held hostage, says Biden. He goes on to say that Hamas unleashed pure, unadulterated evil on the world. He also sends sympathy to the families of those killed on both sides, saying, I am heartbroken by the tragic loss of Palestinian life, including those who died in the Gaza hospital explosion.
Sri Lankan ambassador to Israel, Nimal Bandara, said that the Israel foreign minister has addressed all foreign diplomats at his ministry yesterday. He said that all foreigners and Israel citizens who have been abducted by the Hamas are scheduled to be handed over to the International Committee of Red Cross. Israel has requested to release them without any condition. If there are any Sri Lankans among the abductees, Sri Lankan embassy will take measures to get them released. There are 17 Sri Lankans living in the Gaza Strip. They have informed the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of their safe refuge in the southern part of Gaza. He said that they have already sent the list of their names to the relevant authorities for further actions. The adjournment debate on the request made by the United Nations to immediate intervention for a peaceful solution to the Israel-Palestinian conflict was held in Parliament today. Several parliamentarians expressed their views over this matter.
Honourable Deputy Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to vehemently condemn the atrocities and the colossal loss of human lives, especially the mayhem and death that is caused by indiscriminate attacks that are aimed at civilians. We condemn without reservation these attacks, which are crude and blatant violations of human rights. We urge all parties to this conflict to throw away their arms and convert swords into plowshares. Get rid of your arms and come to negotiating table. Talk peace. Talk how these two nation states can coexist side by side.
Now, when people suffer through violence, it's almost immaterial as to who is responsible for that. Well, it is important to identify the perpetrators. What the point that I am making is, it is important, it is urgent, first to bring that suffering to an end, to bring that fighting to an end, to call for a ceasefire. I'm saying this because how can we, living as we claim in a civilized world, look upon and wait when people, when nations seek to settle their differences through violence?
I would like to say terrorism under any condition is unacceptable and should never be accepted. And I have to say, even if it's the north, west, south or east, it doesn't matter anywhere in the world. Terrorism is something that cannot be accepted under any level. And what Hamas has done today, the action must be, with no doubt, condemned. Terrorist action was committed, inhuman acts towards innocent lives of people who were swept into a conflict that has spanned over decades. The response from Israel has been swift, but the ongoing reports, images and large-scale collateral is deeply disturbing. Similarly, Palestine, innocent young lives are being swept into a conflict that they haven't asked for. The need for a ceasefire is paramount for the survival of the innocent lives. Civilian refuge spaces must be respected, and I implore the region to face their effort on finding a peaceful resolution.
First of all, I wish to condemn the killings of civilians, irrespective of whoever caused it. Human life is too precious and should not be expended for whatever cause.
We can't drag this war forever. This is really cruel. Incidents have been seen from throughout this Israel and Palestine. We can't justify one party for anything. War is not a happy thing. War is a tragedy.
I would like here, Honourable Presiding Member, to recall a meeting I had with the late Yasser Arafat when he visited Sri Lanka. It was a time of the, what do you advise? At that time we were also having a raging civil war in our country. Mr. Yasser Arafat responded to my question. He said, young man, you have to be brave to fight a war, but yet you have to be even more courageous to pursue peace
And this is what the late Yasser Arafat told me when I asked him what his advice was for us, since we also are having a war with terror unleashed by a belligerent group in our country.
All arrangements have been finalized to hold a special convention of the United National Party. It will be held under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. It will be held this year as a special convention under the title of Smart Country Let's Win 2048. The meaning of this title is United National Party's intention to overcome the challenge of creating a pragmatic society by 2048. UNP leaders, diplomats, other party leaders, members of trade unions and civil organizations and party members will take part in this event. It will be held at the Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Several important decisions, including the amendment of the party's constitution, are to be taken at this convention. It was earlier decided to be held as an outdoor event with the participation of huge crowds. However, considering the current weather conditions, it has been decided to be held as an indoor event with the participation of a limited number of people. General Secretary of the UNP Palitarangi Bandara parliamentarian Vajra Abewardhan and a number of senior party members have come to the Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium to look into the pre-arrangement of the convention premises. General Secretary of the United National Party Palitarangi Bandara said that our aim in this special convention is to amend the party constitution to suit the present and future needs.
The seventh stage of the national action organized by the National Television and Mortin Company to prevent spread of dengue mosquito breeding was held at the Malyadeva Girls College in Kurunegala today. The National Television has been able to successfully implement this move in the Kurunegala district throughout the day today. The awareness program for school children was held at the Malyadeva Girls College, and over 800 students from the schools in the district were present at this occasion. Eradication of mosquito breeding places was held in the Vehera area. Kurunegala Municipal Council and the Sri Lanka Army extended their fullest support to make this program a success, and the 8th stage of this program is to be held in the Kegol district. With that, we take a short break. We'll be back with more news from home after the break. Welcome back. We continue with more news from home. The Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says that engineers can achieve a decisive duty in solving the economic crisis.
The Prime Minister made this comment participating at the opening of Techno 2023 Industrial and Technological Exhibition organized at the BMICH premises. The theme of this exhibition this year is Engineering for Revitalizing the Economy, with the aim of overcoming the economic crisis. This exhibition has been organized by Sri Lanka Engineers Institute. The Prime Minister further said that the responsibility of engineers and technologists is not limited to the theories of the curriculum. They should present creative solutions to the numerous challenges faced by the country. Acting Minister of Technology Kanaka Herath, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Engineers Institute Professor Ranjit Disanaika, and a large gathering were present at this occasion. International Chamber of Commerce has expressed its support to help Sri Lanka to successfully face the challenges of food security. Chairperson of the International Chamber of Commerce, Maria Fernanda Garza, who is now on an official visit in the island, focused her special attention to this matter when she met Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena yesterday. Maria Fernanda Garza is the first women chair of the International Chamber of Commerce. This meeting was held at the Temple Trees. They also focused their attention to trade and investment, banking, insurance, finance, tourism, agriculture, small and medium-scale entrepreneurship and entrepreneur development, and many other topics. The Prime Minister informed that the International Chamber of Commerce chairperson that some elements are attempting to create a false image regarding Sri Lanka.
Now, a committee has been appointed by the Speaker, Mahinda Pabewardena, to look into the alleged incident occurred among parliamentarians Diana Gamage, Rohana Bandara and Sujit Sanjay Pereira in the Parliament complex. The chairman of the committee is Deputy Speaker Ajit Rajapaksa. A heated argument also occurred in the Parliament today in this connection. Parliamentarian Diana Gamage said that the House went into an uproar when State Minister Diana Gamage informed the chair that she was assaulted by Samak Janabalawega MP Sujit Sanjay Pereira at the lobby. However, MP Pereira denied the allegation, saying that he only committed an act of self-defense when Ms. Gamage tried to attack him with her handbag. It was reported that the assault was a result of a remark which has been made by MPs Rohana Bandara and Pereira had got involved in the brawl later.
Now, Deputy Speaker Ajit Rajapaksa says that the present 225 parliamentarians are the most unfortunate lot of public representatives. He made this comment at a discussion held yesterday to obtain the support of parliamentarians for the development program of 5,000 villagers organized by the Sanasa Cooperative Bank. Deputy Speaker Ajit Rajapaksa said that the expected development goals couldn't be achieved. The people who voted for us had many expectations, and at the beginning we were committed to fulfill their aspirations. However, following the struggle, we had to face many serious challenges. However, we have to think about how we serve the people who elected us.
Now, the Navaratri Villa program organized by the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation under the title of Mupperum Theviyar Villa was held at the Studio 3 of the corporation. This ceremony was held to honor Mother Durga, who represents strength, Mother Lakshmi, who represents wealth, and Mother Saraswati, who represent education and arts. The offering was organized by the Netra Channel. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe, Board of Directors and staff members were present at this occasion. The offering was conducted by Ramachandra Kurukal Babu Sharma.
And with that, we move on to a few more local news items in brief. The Supreme Court completed the hearing of petitions that were filed against the draft bill presented to the Parliament by the government over the safety of online. The Supreme Court announced that the secret decision will be directed to the Speaker and the President. The petitions were considered by a three-member panel of the Supreme Court judges. About 53 petitions were filed against the online draft bill by Colombo Archbishop, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, several parliamentarians, lawyers, journalists and social activists. A person died in an SLTB bus accident at Meghakula area in Badulla. Another 30 have been injured. Our correspondent said that the bus went out of the road and fell into a precipice. There were about 40 passengers in the bus at the time of the accident. Free distribution of seeds to the farmers for maize cultivation is effective from today. About 40,000 acres will be cultivated with maize in this Maha season. The Ministry of Agriculture will also provide urea fertilizer free of charge. A health camp was held at the Government Information Department today for the well-being of the health of journalists. It has been organized by the Primary Health Empowering World project of the Health Ministry. Consultant doctors of the Colombo National Hospital and other relevant institutes fully contributed to this program.
And we'll be back with international news after this break. Welcome back on Foreign News. Foreign media reports that a driver has been arrested after a car crash and that killed 4 university students in Malibu, California. The groups of university students who died were all members of the sorority, were seniors at Pepperdine University, about 40 west of downtown Los Angeles. Officials say they were standing next to the Pacific Coast Highway when the driver lost control and slammed into parked vehicles that then struck them. They were killed on when a BMW swerved off the road. All 4 were pronounced dead at the scene. 2 others were taken to hospital and their condition is unknown.
And in sports news, Sri Lanka will play its 4th match at the World Cup cricket tournament currently being held in India. The match will be played in Lucknow.
Sri Lanka and the Netherlands have played 5 ODIs so far. Sri Lanka has won all the matches. The Netherlands team has won a match in the World Cup cricket tournament this year. Sri Lanka is yet to record a win. Meanwhile, India won the match against Bangladesh by 7 wickets. The match was played in Pune yesterday. Batting first, Bangladesh scored 256 runs for 8 wickets in their 50 overs. Linton Das scored 66 runs. Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj and Ravindra Jadeja claimed 2 wickets each. In reply, India passed the victory target for 3 wickets in 41.3 overs. Virat Kohli scored 103 runs. Shubman Gill scored 53 runs. India has won all the 4 matches played so far and stay at the 2nd position of the points table. Sri Lanka netball team left the country today for Singapore to take part in the Nation Cup netball tournament. The tournament will be held from the 22nd to the 28th of this month. This year's Sri Lankan team is included with 7 new players. Tulangi Vanitilaka is the captain of the team and Shiromi Kurupu act as the manager.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's news bulletin. We hope you will join us tomorrow for more of the very latest. Until then, good night.